So hey guys, recently I went to the store and I was waiting in line, waiting for them to cash me out, and there was one person ahead of me, and I had the mindset of like buying like fancy bread, and by fancy bread I mean like, that big old Italian bread, better yet, let me show you. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so here we have regular, I don't think I need to take it out, but I'm gonna anyway, I guess. Okay, so here we have like regular grilled cheese bread. And I was like, I'm gonna go fancy. But everyone's definition of fancy is quite different. So I was like, in line with like the fancy bread. And by fancy bread, I mean like, the bread that they make in somewhere, shape, or form. And you end up with like these giant slices like this. Except for mine were more towards the middle and they're bigger. Anyway, so I decided to buy this fancy bread, and I'm in line waiting to pay because I'm like, yes, these are going to be the most awesomest grilled cheese ever. I even went along with going and buying nice cheese, and I'm like imagining this all in my head. And you know that moment where you're really excited about a meal, and all of a sudden just like there has to be that one individual that just kind of like bursts your bubble, and you're kind of like not expecting it, and it kind of sideswipes you. Well, the woman in front of me was sitting there and I guess admiring my bread or something. And she's like, ooh, that's a great idea. I could have made garlic bread. What are you making with the bread? And I looked at her and I was like, well, I'm just going to be honest. I'm making fancy grilled cheese. And she just kind of gave me this like eye roll. Like, that's not fancy grilled cheese, and grilled cheese isn't fancy. And I don't quite know what her prerogative was. But she was like, oh yeah, I'm making quesadillas. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. You can, quesadillas are pretty versatile. You can pretty much add anything to them, chicken, french fries. She's like, oh, no, nothing like that. And in my head, I'm like, quesadillas are greasy, and yeah, you can make them healthy. That's totally cool, but you're judging me for making fancy grilled cheese with fancy bread. But honestly, it is probably like the most fanciest grilled cheese ever. They're so delicious too. I never realized how awesome this bread is. If you are the type of person who likes those really good crispy grilled cheese sandwiches that you normally get at like a restaurant or any kind of grilled sandwich, this is the bread to go with. I swear by this bread after like buying it. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see the steam coming off. Ooh. Anyway, you guys want some? It's been a while since I've offered you guys food. My mouth is watering because of this. But I was curious, what makes people think that their version of something is better than your version? I mean, honestly, I hate when people just kind of like butt in and they're like, oh, like that's not fancy grilled cheese. And it's kind of funny. It kind of reminds me of a story a while back that I did on this channel about cherries and how I was in the store buying Rainier cherries, and this dude was like, oh, the cherries aren't sweet. I'm still convinced to this day, like, the dude wanted my box of cherries, and he was just not having it. Anyway, I'm curious, has that ever happened to you where somebody just kind of passes judgment on you in the supermarket? Let me know down in the comments below, and I hope you guys are gonna enjoy a long weekend. I am. I don't work Monday, which is like, yes, it's gonna be a fun weekend. We're gonna get into some drawing and creating and reorganizing my art supplies, because I've realized over time it's just not working. Plus, I want to find my paintbrushes that I really, really want to use. That's been another thing. I misplaced like my good set of paintbrushes that I stuck in a Ziploc, and I only can find the Ziploc with all the paintbrushes that I don't want to use. That's a whole other video for another day. Anyway, I hope you guys are awesome, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. And yeah, bye!
Whatever it is that you believe you're seeing, it's not real.
Seeing things before they happen. Things are not always what they seem in this place. So you can't take anything for granted.